Okay, so just unboxed the Troy-Bilt snowblower, and if you're ever planning on getting one of these, I highly recommend taking advantage of the delivery to your house. Home Depot had a free delivery because this thing is big, it's heavy. This will not fit in a standard SUV. If you had like a Highlander or something like that, I don't think this would have fit in there. Plus, you'd had a devil of a time getting it in and out of there. So I had this delivered, and they brought it in a big truck and dropped it off. I get this nice pallet when I'm done. So I took it apart and I'm gonna put it together and we'll see how that goes. It looks like the first step in putting this together is just getting some of these zip ties off and then flipping this up into position and bolting it on. So let me do that, and I'll come back and we'll see how that goes. Okay, that's in position now. You just had to take those two bolts out that were like kind of just hanging there. Take them out, flip this thing up, tighten them up. This was a 1/2-inch socket. So that is ready to go. And next step is to put the chute on with the chute control rod. So let me get that out and we'll see how that goes. So far, so good. Knock on wood. Okay, so to put the chute on here, this piece here has to fit inside this here, which means you have to remove this pin. So you got this cotter pin on the side there. We're gonna have to pull that out, pull this out, and then this piece will go back in here, and then that pin will go back through that hole, and we'll put that cotter pin back on. And so let's see how that goes. Okay, so the pin is out, and you'd like to think that's all you have to do, but no. This piece also has to come out. It's got the wing nut here, and this piece will clamp onto that and go through that hole. So we've got to take that out too. So be right back. Okay, so it's on the chute, and you can see the holes pretty much lined up in there. So that's going to go through that. Can I do this one-handed? Hang on, let me get the other pin in first, the bolt here. So that's going to fit down through there. So, you know, it's sticking down there. And we'll put this wing nut on there. And then we just got to wiggle this so we can get this bolt through here. I'm going to need 2 hands for that. That means I got to put the phone down. Man, there's a lot of trucks going through here today. Somebody's getting deliveries, or it's trash. All right, be right back. Okay, so far so good. Got that bar back in there. And it just took a little bit of wiggling and it went right in. And the wing nut's on there. So that is secured in place. Next, we just need to put the control rod handle in here, and that is going to go through this hole. Make sure you take that plastic off, and that will go through there, and that's going to go into that piece. You just have to take that cotter pin off of there and then secure that. So give me 1 second. Okay, so that's in place. That was pretty easy, and now you have control. Very easy control, just swinging that back and forth however you want it to go by turning that handle. And then if you want to adjust the angle that you're throwing the snow, you can do that with this handle too. So far, so good. It's going pretty well. Let's see what's next. Can't see, there's probably a whole lot left to do. It looks pretty assembled here, but let's just take a peek at the directions. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I think it's together. I took the little plastic off the front there, the protective plastic. I checked the oil. It did come with oil in it. I'm probably going to change the oil right after this winter's over. I'm going to go with a synthetic oil in it, just because I'm a firm believer of like change the oil every year you use it, and really just take care of it. And my last snowblower, the one that died on me, which is this one right here, this Yard Machines one, this 5.4, this is over 30 years old, and it finally just gave up the goat this year. I think I got my money's worth out of it. So, but when the plows come and we get, sometimes we'll get a lot of snow, and that thing wouldn't cut through it. So this one with the 272cc engine, that should equate to about 8 or 9 horsepower. And I have a neighbor whose driveway I also do, so I needed just a bigger machine to help cut through all that. Now you have the ignition key in there, but they also give you a spare one. They also gave you a couple of spare shear bolts. I'm going to put all that in a bag. I'm going to get a little Rubbermaid box to put this in. I'm probably going to buy extra of these cables and extra shear bolts, because that happened. I borrowed my neighbor's tractor and his shear bolt snapped off because it's only held on with this L connection here. and there's a lot of tension on that, and eventually just broke right off. And that was a pain in the neck. I had to wait days, almost a week to get a replacement part for that. So I think having extra cables is never a bad idea. Extra shear bolts just in case you hit something. This year we had a lot of ice that snapped the shear bolt in the my neighbor's snowblower, and we were luckily able to find a store that had those in stock. But I like to get the ones that come with it, so I'm gonna get extra of those and just hang on to that. You also got your tool here for unclogging the chute if it gets clogged up. So let me get this thing down off the pallet, and we'll look at the electric start, and I'll get some gas in it and we'll see if we can start it up. Okay, so as I said, all together, it's off the pallet and we're ready to give it its first start. So I put a little gas in it. As I said, it had oil. So I've got my extension cord here. I'm just gonna plug that in and then push the key in, turn the choke on, prime it. And this is full speed. I think we're ready. First time with the electric start.
Oh yeah.
Nice. And with the controls, it's this is pretty cool. This is my first one that's going to be like this. So you've got your auger to turn the auger on to start throwing the snow. This one will make it move forward or backwards depending on where you have your gear select. And then you have these triggers on the bottom. While the wheels are moving, you could turn one wheel off and use that to turn the snowblower which way around instead of trying to fight with it yourself. So I can't wait. Now that I have this and I've spent all this money, we will get no snow. You watch. It'll be just my luck. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe and have a good rest of your day. Okay, so it's the next day after we got done doing all the snow. I did my driveway, I did a neighbor's driveway, another neighbor's driveway, and then another neighbor borrowed mine and did his driveway and his mom's driveway. And same result, this thing went through everything, even down here at the foot of the driveway to get the mailbox uncovered. Had no problem cutting through when the plow came by and plowed in the end of the driveway. So we had about 8 or 9 inches of heavy snow. It was very wet. There was a layer of slush underneath. And it cut through all of it, so it did a really good job. I'm really happy with the purchase. Assembly was a breeze, so if you were thinking about getting this one, I'd recommend it. If anybody else has one like it, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. Have a great day.